Hey everybody, my name's Chuck and today I'm going to be exploring historic downtown Hot Springs. Downtown Hot Springs has a ton of buildings and it's really old. I don't want this to be like a historical documentary, so I'm going to try to keep it to the big buildings. Here's the Park Hotel. I don't really know a ton of the history on this one. It looks like it's under renovation currently. Now we're coming up on the promenade. The promenade is a brick walkway that is above downtown. It's kind of like blended into the mountainside. And it's made to have a scenic but quieter walk to various parts of downtown. They've got it connecting to some of the bathhouses. They've got it connecting to the front of the Army Navy Hospital. And this entrance in particular is in front of the Park Hotel. Looks like some sort of survey marker. We have a fountain up here, or what used to be a fountain. Looks like it's been capped over. But I remember getting water from here all the time whenever I was going on my runs. And I think before it was this, it might have been even a little bit more ornate. Not really sure why they shut it down now. I do like how it kind of blends downtown with the hillside a little more. That way it's not just a super sharp transition in nature. And it also gets you away from the hustle and bustle of the streets down below. You can tell it's summer because every insect in the world is making some sort of like loud noise right now. Here's a little pathway to downtown. Here they've got a little infographic on the geology surrounding the hot springs. I guess one of the reasons why the water is able to flow so easily through the rocks here is because they're porous. This is called tufa rock? Tufa? I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, but you can tell that it's got holes all in it. And here we have some of the actual hot spring water that's coming out of the rock. I know that water doesn't look it, but when it comes out of the ground, it's like between 120 and 140 degrees, and this entire area will be steamed up. You'll be walking through what looks like a giant mist cloud when you're trying to enjoy the promenade on a cool day. I guess it kind of makes sense that the Native Americans called this the Valley of the Vapors. Here's another infographic for Stephen T. Mather. And what they've done is they've capped them all off. I'm assuming to like control the flow of them, perhaps. So there's a ton of these all over the place. There's some further up the hill as well when you go on the road that leads to the top of the mountain, if you can see it up there. You really can't overstate how good of a job the Park Service does, making sure that there are all these infographics, making sure this place stays mowed and that the springs are managed. It's really amazing what they manage to do around here. I was talking about the fountain earlier. They've got an infographic on the fountain as well, and you can see that at one point it was quite a bit more ornate. And here they've got a sneaky little path that goes all the way back down to the street and to all of the shops. The vegetation is a little thick, but I think you might be able to see downtown. I really can't tell. I can't see the viewfinder on the camera. There's a big old cedar tree. Not the biggest I've seen, but still pretty big. It's a really pretty tree too. There's another one. And another one. Superior Spring. Wonder if that's specifically for the Superior Bathhouse. There's another one way over there. Yeah. It says Haywood Spring. Now, as I seem to recall, the water that's down in that grate is also hot. Oh yeah, I can feel the heat coming off of it now. The thing that impresses me about all this stuff is just how ornate it is. Like, yeah, you see plenty of ornate constructions nowadays, but I guess maybe the style has fallen out of favor a little bit. Like, look at how cool that looks. It's the same way with the railings on these steps. They're just so ornate. I love the way it looks. So it looks like on this one, maybe it's overflowing a little bit. I know that there's a pipe there. It maybe is stopped up. Very shortly, we're about to start coming up on our first big building. Excited. Here's another hot spring that just seemingly seeps out of the hillside. So right now we're looking at like a service shack for the Army Navy hospital. It must have an absolutely massive basement under it. And there's supposed to be tons of like steam pipes and all sorts of like plumbing and stuff that are all routed underneath it. So it needs it. There's an old gate that leads to a path that goes up to the hospital. These tables with chessboards kind of feel like a New York thing. Also from up here, you can see the back of all the bathhouses, and they don't look quite as fabulous from the back as they do from the front, but I suppose they wouldn't need to, huh? And here we have the entrance up there. I'm not sure that we can get up to it, but so this is kind of the front facade of the Army Navy Hospital. Oh, here we've got some steps. I need to watch myself here. Make sure I don't fall down face first. Oh my God, I'm making lots of noise. And another infographic about the Imperial Bathhouse. Here's a cool little sign about exploring Bathhouse Row. That way you know the names of them and what order they're in. Here's the actual front entrance to the Army Navy Hospital. Here's some posted stairs that lead up to the entrance. Man, it's huge. So the building as it stands right now was made in 1933. The actual Army Navy Hospital was established in 1887, but obviously this isn't that building. Eventually, the Army and Navy gave it up, and it worked as a rehab center for a long time, but I think it's currently abandoned. There's a little door in the wall here. I wonder what that's for. And here's the entrance that you can drive into. I kind of wish that was the thing nowadays, where they made these buildings as opulent as they used to. Maybe it's just a particular art style that's gone out of fashion, I don't know. Or maybe it's just a sign that I'm kind of white trash, that I appreciate it so much. But I do like the way these buildings are made. Here's one of the smaller buildings. I'm not sure if these were like residences for staff or what exactly, but it's right next to the larger building. Now we're coming up on what I'm pretty sure were some residential buildings for the Army Navy Hospital. It's just buildings in front of buildings. And then across from the big boiler room, we've got the Libby Memorial Physical Medicine Center. I never really think about hot springs being a leader in the medical industry, but I guess maybe they did have a pretty burgeoning medical industry in the early 1900s. All right, and here is our next target, the Federal Building. So the building behind me is the Federal Building. It was built in 1960 on the site of the Eastman Hotel that existed here previously. And it's the home of a federal courthouse and the Post Service, U.S. Postal Service, if I'm not mistaken. All the responses I get from the older people that talk to me about this are saying they hated seeing it because this is where they had to get their draft card. You know, I tried to make sure that before I made this trip that it wasn't going to rain today. And I knew that tomorrow, which will be Sunday, there's like a 50% chance of rain. So I thought, yeah, I'll do it today. I'll just go ahead and film the video. And sure enough, it's trying to rain, so I'm currently hiding under the U.S. Forest Service sign. As I sit here under this sign, I noticed that across the street, Diablo's is over there. That's a Mexican restaurant. And the tacos, they called to me. Whoa. I think it stopped raining for the most part, so I'm going to try to continue walking. Here we are coming up to Hill Wheatley Plaza. A lot of things in Hot Springs are named after Hill Wheatley. He was a prolific businessman, and there was a hotel named after him. Obviously, this plaza is named after him. I want to say that there's a landing on Lake Hamilton as well named after him. Here we have the inner part of Hill Wheatley Plaza where they've got a fountain and a cool place for you to sit. The Visitor is a pretty cool statue that I haven't had a chance to see yet. I've seen it in passing, but I've never seen it in person, and it's pretty epic. The only minor complaint I have is that they usually put a Christmas tree in the middle of that fountain. Where are they going to put it now? So the next stretch of buildings that we're about to see are the bathhouses in the National Park Administration Center. And I went ahead and memorized all of the order of the buildings for the bathhouses. So we're going to see if I can remember. There's Lamar, Buckstaff, Ozark, Quapaw, Fordyce, Maurice, Hale, and Superior. I think that's correct. So here's the National Park Administration building. And it's got this big hot fountain out front. So next we're going to the Lamar Bathhouse. It was built in 1923, and today it hosts the Bathhouse Row Emporium. Next we have the Buckstaff Bathhouse that was built in 1912. It's still operational today as a bathhouse. It's pretty cool. So the next bathhouse we have here is Ozark Bathhouse. It was built in 1922 and it's known for having sculpted mythical creatures. Next we have the Quapaw Bathhouse, which was also built in 1922, and it's actually pretty cool looking as well. It's got a big dome on top. Next, we have the Fordyce Bathhouse, built in 1915. Currently, it is the home of the Visitor Center for National Park. Between the Fordyce and the Maurice bathhouses, it looks like they have the other end of the entrance to the promenade that I was at earlier. The hot spring is located back there, and you've got these really cool pillars that have dates on them about when they were erected and when the park was established. Here we've got the Maurice Bathhouse, which was built in 1912. It's one of the few that doesn't look like it's actually in use right now, but apparently it has some pretty opulent, like stained glass and some other stuff going on inside. Can't tell what this is exactly, but it looks like it may be a hot spring back here. I'm gonna walk back and see. Oh, the name says Dripping Spring, as it implies. It's a very slow dripping spring. And then right here we have the Tunnel Spring, which just kind of looks like nightmare fuel. The second to last one is the Hale Bathhouse. It was built in 1892, and it's famous for having a thermal cave carved into the hillside. I guess it's got a restaurant and a bar in it as well. And then last but not least, we have the Superior Bathhouse, which was built in 1916. It was known specifically for like innovating the way that they treated their customers. Smallest bathhouse on the row, and nowadays it has a brewery inside. Now, before anybody accuses me of having a photographic memory, I don't. I took show notes. This is something I didn't realize, but for a brief amount of time during the Civil War, this was the state capitol. You know, if you're just looking to spend money, there's about a bajillion shops down here. You can definitely do it. So you see this entire lawn before you here. This was actually the site of the first two Arlington hotels. There was a wooden one made first, and then there was a much larger one made of, stone and steel and what have you. Well, the first one got tore down in order to have the bigger one made, and then the second one burned down. And here is the Arlington Hotel as it is today. This building was built in 1925. Again, you just don't realize how big these buildings are till you get next to them. Kind of telling of who I am that I think the Arlington is a big building. I'm from a pretty small town, so. Now across the street from the Arlington, we have the Medical Arts Building. It was built in 1929, and it was the tallest building in Arkansas until 1960. And it was a host for medical offices. They had medical records here. Again, it's kind of interesting. You don't think of Hot Springs as like one of the leading cities in like medical treatment, but I guess there's a lot going on in this town. I don't know if you can see behind the tree over there, but like in really fancy script, it says Medical Arts Building. I feel like the weather's taking a turn for the worse, so I'm gonna run up to the car real quick. It's for the best anyways, because I've got my bicycle and the other buildings I want to visit. I need to travel a little bit, so I'll go hop on my bicycle and do it. It's getting cloudy, but it sure does feel good. And the wind is picking up a little bit. Oh no! There be my car. Alright. Let me get the bike off real quick. Alright, I got my helmet on. I got my shades. My plan this time is to go to the northern part of Central where Whittington and Park and Central all interconnect. Man, the weather has changed dramatically though. Like being on this bike, it's almost downright cold because it was like 93, 94 degrees earlier. Now it feels like it's maybe 82, 83. Pretty out though. There's a few bonus clips. There's the beef jerky outlet, which sounds amazing, but it's probably ridiculously expensive. There's the Arlington Hotel parking garage way up here. I think it used to be that under the parking garage there was an aquarium, but heck, it's been forever since it's been open. Here's the Howell Hotel that I have no information about, and I have no idea what's going on with. About to cross the street, and as always, we got to be safe. Let me hit the button. No getting ran over. Yay, I survived yet again. Now across the street is where the Majestic Hotel used to be. The Majestic Hotel was a big brick structure, obviously a hotel that had been around since forever, but it had caught fire in 2014 and they had to tear it down in 2016. So here's the old St. Joseph's Hospital. It was built in 1927 and it was donated to the ASMSA school in 1991 as part of an initiative by George H.W. Bush or Hillary Clinton. I can't remember exactly. But unfortunately, this building is going to be destroyed in the not so distant future. It was given to the ASMSA as kind of like a foundation or starting point for the school, which you can see another building from it there. And eventually the idea was once the school was established and all the buildings were made that were necessary, this building was going to be given back to the city of Hot Springs and torn down. So behind me is the First Presbyterian Church. This church was actually established in 1876, but they found out that the building that they had made originally was on government land, so they had to rebuild it. They had to build another building, and this building was built in 1907. The land that it sits on was donated by Hiram Whittington, which Whittington Avenue is named after. He was like a business guy that had assuming just an absolute ton of money and had the capacity to donate to the church. So It was very kind of him to do so. That stained glass is really opulent. I like it. So one of the cool things about the First Presbyterian Church that is relevant to the video I made on the Greenway Trail is that it actually sits on top of the tunnel that lets Hot Springs Creek flow through the city. I'm going to go back and show it to you. And here's the tunnel. And there's the church. You can see some of the ruins of where they probably had buildings on the side of the hill here. See a stairway and concrete foundation. And here we have St. Mary of the Springs Catholic Church. This church was originally established in 1869, but the current building was built in 1924 and serves as a focal point for the Catholic community in the area. This is a really cool mural. There's a few buildings that are left. Most of them are peripheral to downtown. I think there's maybe one or two left in downtown, but the best thing we can do is get on the bike and go. So this cool building is obviously the Mountain Valley Water Company headquarters. It was originally bought in 1936 from the DeSoto Mineral Springs Water Company. As far as I know, the spring for this actual company is like closer to Hot Springs Village than it is here in Hot Springs. But this building was originally designed to bottle and sell actual spring water from Hot Springs. I don't think they use that facility though to this day. We're going to head up the mountain a bit because I want to show you the old carriage road that used to take you up the mountain. So this road was one of the roads that originally took you up the mountain. It was made as a switchback road with a pretty low grade so that people could climb up the mountain. Horses drawing carriages could go up the mountain. But it had been antiquated whenever they made West Mountain Road, I want to say. Also, I'm pretty sure that they had a shooting gallery up here. Like you could shoot at targets on the side of the mountain and blow them up. There's a sign up there somewhere that talks about it. I keep hearing thunder as I'm walking back down. It's spooky. Honestly, with the grade this road has, I can't imagine a carriage getting up it. Jeez, I'm having a hard time walking down it. I will say that it always feels kind of sketchy to ride on the streets. I know it says it's a designated bike lane, but ugh. So here we are in front of the Tussaud Wax Museum. Is originally the Southern Club, which is kind of why I wanted to stop by. The Southern Club was a gambling establishment that was built in 1893, and it was frequented by Al Capone, which is pretty freaking cool. It is said that across the street of the Arlington, Al Capone would rent his favorite room. I can't remember the number. I think it was like 443. And then he would sit there and watch the Southern Club to see who was going in and out, and he would also frequently gamble here. Funny thing, we saw that. One of my future video ideas is to go to Garvin Woodland Gardens, so we'll see how that goes. And behind me is the Ohio Club. It's a restaurant, bar, speakeasy, whatever you want to call it now, that was built in 1903 and was frequented by gangsters like Al Capone. It was originally a casino, but also you can go get food and have drinks, do whatever. It's got a pretty big reputation nowadays. This little walkway up to the parking deck is pretty cool, but it's even prettier during Christmas because they put all sorts of lights all over it. Man, oh, it's gorgeous. Found a really cool mural on one of the back streets. Oh man, this has been a long ride. I'm getting tired. Only got a few more buildings left, I guess. Now, kids. There's a landmark building. I don't know any history about that one either. You know what I hate the most on bikes? Is hills. This is the Colorado Grill, and I love their food. So obviously this is the old Garland County Courthouse. It was built in 1905. Pretty sure it suffered a fairly catastrophic fire in like 1913-ish. Don't quote me on that date. Where a lot of the records for Garland County were lost. Obviously it's a historic place today. Historic landmark or whatever. They actually do all of the Garland County court stuff like a couple of doors down. We want to preserve this for the sake of the legacy of the place. Good news, everyone. It's almost over. I've got like maybe 2 or 3 more buildings I want to hit. And I'm going downhill now, which is so appreciated. You don't understand. I'm getting a little tired and a little hungry. So here we have the French Quarter across the street. I don't know nothing about it. I've never been there. You've never seen me there. And don't ask me about it, okay? So up here is the other side of the transportation depot that I took a video of earlier. So that's cool. So behind me we have historic Hot Springs High School. This building was built in 1914, and in my opinion it's just got like the most ornate brickwork and stonework. It's really cool to look at. And it's famous because Bill Clinton graduated from here in 1964. Nowadays I think it's like apartments. But it's good to see that the building still gets used and you can come and look around. And it still looks just as great as I'm sure when it was built. Here is the fire station. It's right next to the Hot Springs High School, so it's pretty easy to take a video of. But it's also pretty opulent. I really like buildings like this. Must have been a brewery at one point. So behind me is the beautiful National Baptist Hotel. It was built in 1923 for the Woodsmen of the Union, and it contained all sorts of stuff. It was a bathhouse, it had a nursing school in it, it had a bank, it had an auditorium, it had all sorts of stuff. Eventually it was bought in 1950 by the National Baptist Association. It was used as a spa and a hotel, etc. And then in 1981, I want to say they got rid of it, and it's recently been used for low-income housing for the elderly. So I'm glad that this building gets reused and not torn down. I thought this was a pretty worthy inclusion. The tall building built behind me was the Citizens Building, I believe. Built in 1912, and it's always been a commercial building. Today it has, I want to say, the vault in it. It has the heist, which is, I'm sure, some sort of like simulation for stealing from a bank. I don't know. And then it's got some lofts in it as well. You can't really forget Bridge Street. Bridge Street is the street between Spencer's Corner and the Citizens Building. It's green because it is the site of the world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade. It's all green. Man, the whole town is old. That's a really cool door. So this church is St. Luke's Episcopal Church. The congregation was started in like the 1860s, but this building wasn't erected until 1926. But yeah, it's again just another gorgeous building in the downtown area. So the last building on my list today is Spencer's Corner. It was built sometime in the 1880s. It's like a split building with a basement. It's pretty cool to me, although I don't know that it's super historic because it has like 3 of my favorite restaurants, and it has Picante's, Brickhouse Grill, and Steinhaus Keller. It's also got an escape room. I think it's got a Subway on the front of it, but I ended a video here for a very specific reason, because I'm hungry. Look at the Steinhaus Keller sign. It's like such good food, such good German food. So I don't know today if I got to every building that was historic or unique in downtown Hot Springs, Arkansas. As a matter of fact, I can tell you that I didn't. But I saw a ton of it. And hopefully you enjoyed getting to see it with me. Thanks for watching my channel. If you like the kind of stuff I'm doing, feel free to subscribe, like it, comment, converse with me, have a conversation with me. I love having a conversation. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to the channel.